Hi everyone and welcome back to Gamertag Stories YouTube channel. Today I want to discuss that age-old question, multiplayer or single player? Which is better? Which do you prefer? So straight off the bat, if you're waiting to see what I say, I like them both. There is no right or wrong answer here. This is more of a discussion, so please comment down below what you prefer and why. And hopefully we can all have a great conversation and give the reasons why we prefer a certain type. I did a poll recently and I said, what type of games do you prefer? Online gaming or single player? The results are finally single player 68%, online gaming 32%. Okay, granted, there weren't that very many votes. I'm a new channel, there's only 28 votes. But it gives you kind of an idea. So let's just take a little look at some of the reasons why. This is just what I personally think, why people would pick what they picked. And this is the great thing, there is no right or wrong answer. Gaming is gaming. If you enjoy it, then we're winning as a community. We all have to stick together. I know there's always these console wars or PC Master Race, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're doing something that you enjoy, nobody can take that away from you. And I think that is the most important factor you need to have here. Before everyone starts fighting each other in the comments, if you enjoy what you do, then that's all that matters. If you don't enjoy what you do, you might want to do something else. So, just for a bit of context, if you're watching this in 2024, I'm 39 years old, so I am ancient to some of you and younger than some of you, but the average age for a gamer these days is around about 35 apparently. So there's people like myself who have been gaming for 30 years, since the SNES and Mega Drive, PlayStation. You know, the early to mid 90s is when I started. A lot of people who may watch this have been gaming longer. Some of you, like my nephew who's only 16, he was born in 2007, that's disgusting to say, they've only been playing for a few years. So this is just a great way to look at how different generations look at certain things. So I'm that kind of hybrid, I think, where I play a lot of online games, but I play a lot of single player games, and I enjoy them both, and for different reasons. So back when I was a kid, 10, 11, we didn't really have online gaming as much. There was PC gaming, there was Doom was out, and Quake, and all these things. But it wasn't until Half-Life came out in 1998, and then off the back of that, Counter-Strike, that I was introduced to online gaming. I know there was Quake and a few other things before, but that's when, for me, it blew my mind. But up until then, I had just played single-player games. Obviously, older generation consoles, older generation games weren't as impressive as they are today, but they still had great storylines. Let's look at Metal Gear Solid, that first 1998 Metal Gear Solid on the PS1. That blew my mind. I remember saving up all my pocket money to get the special edition with the t-shirt and the CD and the dog tags. I loved that game, as well as the Resident Evil games. Fantastic storytelling, character development, all this stuff. So I think the argument for single player games would be the narrative, the set pieces, the storytelling, engaging gameplay. There's lots of things that kind of you can do in a single player game that you can't do in a multiplayer game. So for me personally, it sort of pleases a different part of my kind of brain, I guess, while I'm doing these things. For multiplayer, you've got obviously the fun factor. Obviously all games are fun anyway. The community, playing with friends or meeting new friends. The great thing I love about online as well is that it's always different. Even though, yes, you may be playing a battle royale or a team deathmatch or whatever you're playing, a racing game, because you're playing against humans, the gameplay will always be different, even though the goal will be the same. And that's something that I found fascinating. You're connecting with people from all around the world, and everybody's mind works differently. We all want to win in the game, of course, but it's never the same. Whereas single player games, if you play that game through and then play it again, it's going to be the same story, but that doesn't take away from it at all. I think personally, some of the most mind-blowing and memorable moments I've had in gaming have been from single player games. Like I said, Metal Gear Solid, all the Metal Gear Solid games, the Uncharted series, absolutely phenomenal storytelling. The Last of Us. I remember, in fact, the first time I played Uncharted on the PS3, it blew my mind, took my breath away. Grand Theft Auto, there's so, obviously God of War, we could just go on and on and on for single players that have fantastic narratives. Not all of them, but then again, same with multiplayer. Not every multiplayer game is a hit, right? I think I'm very lucky in the fact that I can find enjoyment out of both. Do you find enjoyment out of both? Let me know in the comments below, or do you prefer one? I know that some people don't play multiplayer. They like to just stick with single player games because that's what they prefer, and that's absolutely fine. I've been very lucky that I've made some great friends, friends from other countries. My friend Fruzen and Ramon and Denny and Waldy. Denny, Ramon and Fruzen are from the Netherlands and Waldy's from Finland. I'm England, as you can probably tell. I also play with my friend Billy. So me, Billy and Fruzen, we are the APW on Apex and we play together, and it's just a great time. But then my nephew's 16 years old. So here's where I think there's a generational difference, where he's 16, he plays Dead by Daylight, he plays Fortnite, he plays Minecraft, he plays a lot of other things. He doesn't really play any single player games. He dabbles, he's had a few, and I think maybe as he games a little bit more he will start to. But there seems to be a kind of a generational divide that younger gamers want to play with their friends. Of course, we all like to play with our friends, and I think they might be missing out on some of these fantastic experiences that are available from single player games. That's not everybody, not putting everybody in the same box, but I haven't noticed this shift where they'll do a lot more online gaming than single player. I'm trying to encourage him to play single player games, and he's starting to get there. But also what I think is, when it comes down to time, so a lot of people as they get older may not have as much time. They have families, they have jobs. Luckily I don't have any children, and I have my own company, so I can try to make time for gaming. Gaming is one of the biggest things to me. It's been my hobby for 30 years. I've got myself 2 publishing deals writing books on gaming. It's really a big part of my life. Luckily my fiance understands that and she lets me do it. In fact, she says it keeps me quiet and out of trouble, so that's why she lets me do it. But I think when I have 10, 20, 30 minutes, I don't want to get engrossed in a single player game, something that could take ages. You get so engulfed in that storyline and those characters that you just want to keep playing. It's like a film. Some of the games now, they're so similar to films in the way that they're portrayed, and the storytelling is just mind-blowing. You can't delve in that for 10-20 minutes like you could do a round of Fortnite or a round of Call of Duty or something like that. So I really think time plays a big factor, especially if anyone's a little bit older. Please let me know if that's a factor for you. I know if I've only got 10-20 minutes, I would rather jump on a Dead by Daylight round or something like that, or Fall Guys, or just something short and quick. But then again, I do play Spelunky 2 a lot. I die a lot. I think I've done 1,700 runs and I've only ever completed it twice. If you know Spelunky 2, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Overall, I think single player or multiplayer gaming is fantastic. There is no winner. You personally may think, oh, I prefer this, and everything's subjective, and this is what's fantastic about gaming and just life in general. Just because you may feel some way, someone else may not. And this is something I think makes the gaming community so strong, and it has been for the last 20 years, maybe longer, 25 years. As long as we look out for each other, even if our preferences are different, then gaming is just going to thrive. Well, first off, we need to make sure AAA developers make decent games and don't put adverts in them, but that's a different conversation altogether. I really appreciate all your support on this channel. We're nearly at 200 subscribers. If you could give this a thumbs up and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. I try to take a kind of neutral approach on gaming. I'm a massive gamer, just like you are if you're watching this. So I try not to berate or hate on anything, and this is well deserved. Look after yourself, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers.